Admiral James Walker stood motionless before the massive window of Earth's orbital station, his weathered face reflected in the glass as he watched alien ships appear one by one, their sleek forms cutting through space like sharks circling their prey. Each vessel bore the mark of the Galactic Council, an organization that had once promised friendship, but now showed its true colors. "Sir, they're broadcasting their message across all channels," reported Lieutenant Anna Brown, her voice tight with tension. The command center fell silent as the alien transmission began to play. "People of Earth," the cold voice of the council speaker filled the room. "By unanimous vote, the Galactic Council has deemed humanity too unstable and violent for continued participation in galactic society. Earth is hereby placed under quarantine until further notice. Any attempt to break this blockade will be met with immediate force." Walker's fists clenched at his sides. Just 3 days ago, he had shared drinks with council representatives, discussing future trade deals and cultural exchanges. Now those same allies surrounded Earth with weapons primed. In Geneva, Marcus Thompson sat in the empty council chamber, frantically searching through classified files. As Earth's senior representative to the council, he had access to high-level communications. What he discovered made his blood run cold. "Computer, play message thread GC7729, he commanded. A hologram flickered to life, showing several alien council members in private conversation. "The humans progress too quickly," one alien said, its translator conveying fear in its synthetic voice. "In 50 years, they've advanced more than most species do in 5 centuries. If we wait another decade, we won't be able to contain them. Their military technology already rivals the Tier 2 species," another added. "Their AI research threatens to surpass our own. We must act now, while we still hold the advantage." Marcus downloaded everything he could find onto a secure drive. The quarantine wasn't about violence. It was about fear. Fear of human potential, fear of human innovation, fear of being overtaken. Back in orbit, Walker received the emergency transmission from Marcus. As he read through the evidence, his initial anger transformed into cold determination. The Council hadn't just betrayed Earth, they had revealed their own weakness. "Lieutenant Brown," he called out, his voice steady and controlled. "Send word to all Earth defense stations. Code Black protocol is now in effect." The lieutenant's eyes widened. Code Black meant complete communication blackout with all off-world entities. It was a protocol designed for one purpose: preparing for war. Across Earth, the impact was immediate. Spaceports closed. Trade ships recalled. Military bases went into lockdown. On the surface, it looked like Earth was accepting its fate, cowering under the Council's show of force. In Washington, the Global Defense Council convened an emergency session. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials gathered to face this unprecedented crisis. "They expect us to break quickly," Walker addressed the assembly, his image projected on screens worldwide. "They think isolation will weaken us. They believe their superior numbers and technology will force our submission." He paused, letting his words sink in. "They have made a fatal mistake." The room erupted in determined murmurs as Walker continued. "What the Council fails to understand is that humanity has never been stronger than when backed into a corner. They mean to imprison us. Fine. We will use this prison as our fortress. They want to cut us off. Perfect. We will build and prepare in secret." Marcus Thompson, having escaped from the Council station just hours before the quarantine, presented his findings. "The Council fears our potential more than our weapons. They see in us their own replacement, and rather than face fair competition, they choose to chain us." As the first day of Earth's quarantine drew to a close, millions of humans looked up at the alien ships dotting their sky. But instead of fear, a different emotion took hold: determination. In labs, factories, and military bases around the world, wheels began turning. Plans were drawn. Projects initiated. The Council thought they had caged a dangerous animal. They didn't realize they had given humanity exactly what it needed: a reason to unite, time to prepare, and most importantly, motivation for revenge. Walker looked at the stars one last time before the station's shutters close. "Log the date," he commanded. "This is day one of Earth's countdown to freedom. And when we break these chains, the galaxy will learn why you should never corner a species that turned its own planet into a survival game and won." 5 years passed like a slow-burning fuse. To the watching alien ships, Earth seemed to have accepted its fate. The once busy space lanes around the planet lay quiet, and the global communication networks remained silent. But beneath this peaceful surface, humanity was far from idle. Deep under the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emily Richards stood before a massive quantum computer array. The blue glow of its processing cores lit up her tired face as she reviewed the latest test results. "Run simulation sequence 2749, she commanded. The air filled with holographic displays showing complex quantum calculations. "Stop. There. Did you see that pattern?" She pointed to a strange ripple in the data stream. Her assistant, Tom Miller, leaned forward. "The dark matter is responding to the quantum field differently this time. It's like it's learning." Emily smiled for the first time in days. "Not like it's learning, Tom. It is learning." Project Shadow just achieved true quantum AI integration. Across the world, similar breakthroughs were happening in hidden facilities. In the Mariana Trench, engineers tested new hull materials that could bend light around ships. In the Sahara Desert, vast underground factories produced advanced weapon systems. In Antarctica, military pilots trained on simulators that mimicked alien ship controls with perfect accuracy. Admiral Walker surveyed these reports from his new command center, buried deep within Mount Everest. The Council's patrol ships still circled overhead, but their numbers had decreased over the years. Complacency, humanity's secret weapon. "Sir," Lieutenant Brown called out, now wearing the rank of commander, "the Council's annual inspection request has arrived." Walker nodded. Every year, the Council sent observers to ensure Earth remained properly contained. Every year, they saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a defeated civilization barely maintaining its infrastructure. "Prepare the usual show," Walker ordered. "Dim the cities 20% more than last year. Add some rust to the visible satellites. Make sure they see what they expect to see." The next day, as the Council observers conducted their inspection, they never noticed the quantum-shielded facilities hidden beneath their feet. They didn't detect the advanced AI systems monitoring their every move. They couldn't see the massive fleet being constructed in underground bases around the world. In her lab, Dr. Richards put the finishing touches on humanity's greatest achievement. Project Shadow wasn't just an AI system. It was a revolution in quantum physics. By combining artificial intelligence with dark matter manipulation, they had created something that defied the known laws of science. "Final test sequence complete," she announced to the gathered military leaders. "Watch this." She pressed a button, and a small probe in the center of the room simply vanished. Not with a flash or a bang. It just ceased to exist to all known forms of detection. "Quantum cloaking," she explained. "Not just invisible to light, but to every form of detection the Council possesses. And that's just the beginning." The probe reappeared across the room. Instant quantum transportation. No need for traditional engines or hyperspace. We can move ships instantly across any distance. Walker stepped forward, his eyes reflecting the blue glow of the quantum cores. "How soon can we begin installing these systems in our fleet?" "Mass production begins tomorrow," Emily replied. "Within 6 months, every ship we've built will have full quantum capabilities." Later that night, Walker stood in his office, looking at a holographic display of the galaxy. 5 years ago, the Council had meant to cage humanity. Instead, they had given Earth exactly what it needed: time and motivation. The humans they remembered were gone. In their place stood a unified species that had turned their prison into a fortress of innovation. Every restriction, every hardship, Every moment of isolation had been transformed into an advantage. "Send the signal," Walker commanded. "Tell all facilities to begin Phase 2. As his order spread across the hidden global network, humanity's secret fleet powered up for the first time. In bases under every continent, quantum drives hummed to life. Weapon systems initialized. I-networks activated. The Council thought they had contained humanity's growth. They were about to learn that they had only compressed a spring. And now it was about to release with devastating force. Commander Robert Stone sat in the captain's chair of the U.S. Ghost, humanity's first quantum-enabled warship. The bridge crew worked in silence, their fingers dancing over holographic controls. No one spoke. They didn't need to. Their neural links, courtesy of Dr. Richard's eye integration, let them communicate instantly through thought alone. "All ships report ready," his second-in-command, Laura Reed, reported mentally. Around the Ghost, 50 other ships waited in Earth's underground launch bays. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human engineering, completely invisible to all known forms of detection. "Operation Ghost begins in 3 minutes," Stone transmitted to the fleet. "Primary target, Council Fuel Depot Alpha 7. Remember your training. Remember why we fight." The launch countdown began. In his command center, Admiral Walker watched through secure feeds. 5 years of preparation came down to this moment. If they failed, the Council would know Earth had broken the quarantine. If they succeeded, the galaxy would never be the same. "Launch," Stone commanded. 51 ships lifted off silently from hidden bases around the planet. They passed through the quantum-shielded doors and rose into the night sky. Council patrol ships drifted nearby, their sensors detecting nothing. Stone allowed himself a small smile. The Council's mighty warships, now nothing more than blind giants. His fleet accelerated, passing close enough to see individual windows on the alien vessels. Still no reaction. "Quantum jump in 10 seconds, Reed announced. The new drives hummed to life, creating microscopic tears in space-time itself. The fleet vanished. They reappeared light years away, directly above the Council's largest fuel depot. The massive station floated peacefully, its automated defenses scanning for threats that their outdated technology could never detect. "Weapons free," Stone ordered. "Hit your assigned targets. No survivors." The Ghost's quantum cannons fired beams of concentrated dark matter. Where they struck, matter simply ceased to exist. Other ships launched similar attacks, their weapons cutting through the station's shields like they weren't there. Inside the station, alarms blared. Alien crews rushed to battle stations, firing blindly into space. But there was nothing to shoot at. Their sensors showed empty space, even as their station broke apart around them. "First wave complete," Reed reported. "Station defenses neutralized." Stone nodded. "Begin Phase 2. Smaller ships broke formation, attaching quantum bombs to key points on the station. These weren't crude nuclear weapons. They were Dr. Richard's special creations. When detonated, they would erase the entire facility from existence, leaving no evidence of how it was destroyed. "All ships clear," came the report. "Charges set." Stone took one last look at the Council facility. "Detonate." The quantum bombs activated simultaneously. For a brief moment, the station glowed with impossible colors as quantum fields tore it apart at the subatomic level. Then, nothing. Where a massive fuel depot had once stood, only empty space remained. "Return to Earth," Stone commanded. His fleet vanished again, leaving behind only confusion and fear. The Council's response was immediate and panicked. Emergency signals flooded the communications networks. Their largest fuel depot, responsible for supplying a quarter of their fleet, had simply disappeared. No debris, no radiation signature, no weapon traces, nothing to explain what had happened. Back on Earth, Walker received Stone's success report with grim satisfaction. "Begin targeting next facility," he ordered. "We strike again in 12 hours." In the following days, more council facilities vanished without trace. Supply depots, research stations, shipyards, all disappeared as if they had never existed. The council's mighty fleets rushed from target to target, always arriving too late. Stone watched the chaos spread through intercepted council communications. Their arrogance was turning to confusion, and confusion to fear. But this was just the beginning. Next target acquired, Reed reported. Council Military Academy on Centauri Prime. Stone straightened in his chair. The Council had taught humanity a lesson about isolation. Now humanity would teach them about consequences. Launch when ready, he commanded. The Ghost and its fleet vanished once more into quantum space, leaving behind a council that was starting to realize just how badly they had underestimated Earth. The Grand Council chamber, once a place of order and calm, had descended into chaos. Representatives from 30 alien species shouted over each other, their translator devices creating a cacophony of panicked voices. In the center of the chamber, High Counselor Peters, Earth's former representative who had chosen to stay with the Council, watched with growing concern. "Silence," thundered the Council speaker, his crystalline form flashing with angry red lights. "We must maintain order." "Order?" The delegate from the Proxima colony stood up. 17 major facilities have vanished in the past week. Our entire defense network is blind. What sort of order can we maintain? Peters stepped forward, his aged human frame straight and dignified. "I warned you all 5 years ago. I warned you what quarantining Earth would lead to. You dare speak?" A reptilian delegate hissed. "Your species is clearly behind these attacks." "Of course they are," Peters replied calmly. "And you gave them every reason to be. Tell me, how many of you actually believed Earth would simply accept imprisonment? How many thought humans would just sit quietly in their cage?" The chamber fell silent. On the massive screens surrounding them, another emergency signal flashed. The Council's premier military academy had just disappeared, along with 10,000 of their best cadets. "We've lost contact with the Centauri Sector fleet," an aide reported. "All 40 ships, just gone." The Proxima delegate slumped in his seat. "How are they doing this? Our sensors detect nothing. No ships, no weapons signatures, nothing." Peters laughed softly. "You isolated the most innovative species in the galaxy, gave them a reason to unite, and left them alone for 5 years. What did you think they would do with that time?" "We had no choice," the Council speaker protested. "Their advancement rate was too dangerous." "No choice." Peters pointed to the screens showing more distress signals. "You had every choice. You could have welcomed their innovation. You could have learned from them. Instead, you chose fear." A new signal cut through all communications channels. The Council chamber's screens flickered, and a familiar face appeared. Admiral James Walker. "Greetings, Galactic Council." Walker's voice was calm and measured. "I trust we have your attention now." The Council speaker stepped forward. "These acts of aggression will not be tolerated. Earth's quarantine will be strengthened, and—" "Earth's quarantine," Walker interrupted, "ended the moment we chose to end it. Your patrols never even noticed us leaving. Your sensors can't detect our ships. Your weapons can't touch us. But we can reach you anywhere, anytime." Peters watched his fellow council members shrink back in their seats. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 worlds, reduced to frightened politicians by a species they had tried to cage. "These are our terms," Walker continued. "First, Earth will be fully reintegrated into galactic society. Second, all species who supported the quarantine will pay reparations for 5 years of lost trade and development. Third, the Council will undergo complete restructuring under Earth's supervision." "Or what?" the reptilian delegate challenged. The screen showed a new image, a massive human fleet cloaking around the Council's capital world. Thousands of ships, each armed with weapons that could erase matter from existence. "Or we continue demonstrating why your fear of us was justified," Walker replied simply. The Council chambers erupted again, but this time in panic. Species after species withdrew their membership, not wanting to face Earth's wrath. Others quickly voted to accept the human terms. Peters stood watching it all, remembering his last words to the Council 5 years ago. If you cage humanity, you will create exactly what you fear, a unified human race with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Now, as he watched the mighty Council crumble before Earth's power, he felt no satisfaction, only resignation. The Council had made their choice, and now they would face the consequences of underestimating humanity's greatest strength, its ability to turn isolation into innovation and restrictions into revenge. Walker's image remained on screen, a silent reminder that the galaxy's balance of power had shifted. Humanity was no longer asking for a place at the table. They were taking it. The Council's response to Earth's demands came swiftly and predictably. A massive fleet of 10,000 warships, gathered from every remaining loyal species, now approached the solar system. Dr. Emily Richards watched the incoming fleet through the quantum sensors of her facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Behind her, Project Prometheus hummed with power, its quantum cores pulsing with strange dark energy. "They never learn, do they?" she said to Tom Miller, who was monitoring the project's power levels. "Even now, they think superior numbers will save them." Admiral Walker's hologram appeared in the lab. "The Council fleet will reach our outer defense perimeter in 6 hours. Is Prometheus ready?" Emily smiled. "It's been ready for 2 years, Admiral. We just never had a target big enough to properly demonstrate it." The project she had spent 5 years perfecting wasn't just another weapon. It was humanity's ultimate answer to alien technology. While Commander Stone's fleet had shown the galaxy what humans could destroy, Prometheus would show them what humans could control. "Begin the final sequence," Walker ordered. "Let's show them why Earth doesn't fear their numbers." Across the planet, hidden quantum transmitters activated, each one linked to a vast network of dark matter nodes that Emily's team had secretly placed throughout the galaxy during their stealth attacks. In the Council fleet, Admiral Max Ross watched from his stealth ship as the alien vessels approached. Like all of Earth's new ships, his vessel was completely invisible to their sensors. The alien fleet moved forward confidently, their weapons charged, shields at maximum. "All ships in position," Ross reported to Walker, ready to record the demonstration. Emily stood before the main control panel of Project Prometheus. 5 years of work, countless breakthroughs in quantum physics, and one fundamental discovery. All advanced technology relied on the same basic principles of energy manipulation. "Initiating Prometheus Protocol," she announced. Her fingers danced across the holographic controls. "Phase 1. Now." At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, ships in the Council fleet began to slow. Their engines flickered and died. Weapon systems shut down. Shield generators went dark. "What's happening?" the Council fleet commander demanded as reports flooded in. "Why are we losing power?" Emily watched through the quantum sensors as confusion spread through the alien fleet. "Phase 2, she commanded. The dark matter network pulsed. Now environmental systems began failing. Artificial gravity vanished. Life support sputtered. "This is impossible." The Council commander's voice crackled through intercepted communications. "All ships, retreat. Full emergency power." "They still don't understand," Emily said softly. "Prometheus doesn't just disable technology. It changes the fundamental laws of physics in localized space. Their technology literally cannot function within its field." The mighty Council fleet, pride of their civilization, now drifted helplessly in space. 10,000 ships, reduced to powerless hulks by an invisible force they couldn't detect or resist. Walker's hologram smiled grimly. "Send the message." On every vessel in the Council fleet, screens flickered to life, their only functioning technology allowed to work by precise design. Emily's face appeared before the terrified alien crews. "Greetings," she said calmly. "You are experiencing Project Prometheus. Your ships will regain power in exactly 1 hour. This demonstration affected only 1% of the project's total capability. She paused, letting that sink in. The full network can disable any advanced technology in the galaxy with a single command. Your worlds would be thrown back into their technological dark ages in an instant. The Council fleet hung silently in space as Emily continued. This is not a negotiation. This is not a threat. This is simply information you need to make an intelligent decision about Earth's previous demands. As her message ended, Walker turned to his staff. Prepare for their response. They've just learned that humanity doesn't need to destroy their technology to defeat them. We can simply turn it off. In her lab, Emily watched the Council ships drift. The quarantine forced us to think differently, she said to no one in particular. They meant to contain us. Instead, they pushed us to evolve beyond them. The countdown to restore the Council fleet's power continued to tick down, marking humanity's final transformation from prisoners to masters of the galaxy. The Council's response to Project Prometheus was not what anyone expected. Instead of surrender, they chose desperation. Thousands of ships from their remaining loyal worlds gathered for one final assault on Earth. Not just warships this time. They brought planet-killer weapons, forbidden technology, and suicide crews. They mean to destroy Earth entirely, Admiral Walker announced to the Global Command Center. They would rather commit genocide than admit defeat. Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the U.S. Ghost, watching the massive enemy fleet approach through quantum sensors. They've modified their ships, he reported. Primitive backup systems, manual controls. They think they can fight through Prometheus. Dr. Emily Richards worked furiously at her console, analyzing the Council fleet's modifications. They're using ancient technology now, predating modern power systems. Clever. They're trying to become too primitive for Prometheus to affect. The Council fleet moved closer, now numbering over 50,000 ships. Leading them was the Council's doomsday weapon, a massive cannon capable of cracking planets. They had built it in secret, breaking their own laws against such weapons. All Earth forces, battle positions, Walker commanded. The hidden human fleet decloaked, revealing 10,000 quantum ships surrounding their home world. Behind them, orbital defense platforms powered up, their dark matter weapons ready. The Council speaker's transmission reached every screen on Earth. You leave us no choice. If we cannot control humanity, we will end it. All ships, attack. The Council fleet surged forward. Their weapons were primitive but numerous. The first volley of attacks lit up space like a new sun being born. Now, Walker ordered. Emily activated Prometheus at full power. The dark matter network pulsed across the galaxy. On thousands of Council worlds, technology simply stopped working. Cities went dark. Ships fell from the sky. Centuries of advancement vanished in seconds. But the attacking fleet pushed on, their crude backup systems still functioning. They had sacrificed all their technological advancement for this one chance to destroy Earth. They're still coming, Stone reported, as his fleet engaged the enemy. Quantum weapons flashed, erasing Council ships from existence. But there were so many of them. Phase 2, Walker commanded. Emily nodded and activated their final surprise, initiating quantum field inversion. The space around Earth rippled. Council ships suddenly found themselves firing at nothing, their weapons passing through empty space where Earth had been moments before. What's happening? The Council speaker demanded. Where did they go? Emily's voice answered across all channels. We didn't just learn to turn off technology. We learned to manipulate reality itself. Earth now exists slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. You cannot touch us, but we can touch you. To demonstrate, the human fleet opened fire from their quantum-shifted position. Their weapons passed through the dimensional barrier, tearing through the Council fleet with devastating effect. Last chance, Walker transmitted. Surrender, or we will be forced to demonstrate our full capabilities. The Council speaker laughed madly. Never. Fire the doomsday weapon. End this. The massive planet killer cannon powered up, its crude atomic engines straining. But before it could fire, something unexpected happened. Every human ship vanished at once. The Council fleet hung in space, momentarily confused. Then Earth itself seemed to fade away, becoming transparent like a ghost. "What you see," Emily explained to the baffled Council forces, "is Earth shifting completely out of your dimension. We can now exist in a parallel space-time, unreachable by your weapons, your ships, or your hate. Impossible." The Council speaker screamed, "Nothing can." His words cut off as the human fleet reappeared. Inside the Council fleet's formation, they had quantum shifted through space itself, bypassing all defenses. All ships, Stone commanded, "End this." The battle that followed was brief and decisive. Council ships exploded in silence as quantum weapons struck from impossible angles. The mighty doomsday weapon vanished in a flash of dark matter energy. When it was over, the Council fleet was gone. Earth phased back into normal spacetime, its defenders unscathed. The message was clear. Humanity had not just defeated the Council, they had transcended them. 1 month after the Great Battle, Admiral Walker stood in the rebuilt Council chamber. The room was different now. Gone were the ornate decorations and symbols of alien supremacy. In their place hung the simple banner showing Earth among the stars, with the words "Unity through Understanding" written below it. Representatives from 100 alien species filled the chamber, their worlds now dependent on Earth's mercy. The mighty Galactic Council had collapsed after their failed attack, leaving a power vacuum that threatened to tear the galaxy apart. The old Council failed. Walker addressed the gathered species, not because they were weak, but because they chose fear over progress. They chose suppression over cooperation. Today, we establish something new. Dr. Emily Richards stood nearby, her quantum sensors monitoring the galaxy-wide network of Prometheus nodes. The project that had won the war now served a different purpose: maintaining peace. The Galactic Alliance, Walker continued, will be different from the Council in 3 fundamental ways. First, no species will be quarantined or excluded based on their rate of progress. Second, all technological advances must be shared for the common good. And third, any act of aggression against a member world will be met with an immediate response from all Alliance forces. High Counselor Peters, who had helped smooth the transition, nodded in approval. The old man had seen his warnings about humanity come true, but now he worked to build something better from the ashes of the Council. Commander Stone, watching from his ship in orbit, sent a mental message through the quantum network. Security scan complete. No threats detected. All ships report ready. The U.S. Ghost and its fleet had become the guardians of this new order, their quantum technology now openly shared with trustworthy allies. Already, joint human-alien crews were training on the new ships. "Some of you fear us," Walker acknowledged to the chamber. "You fear what we might do with our power. That fear is understandable. We were feared before, and we proved more dangerous than anyone imagined." He paused, looking at each representative in turn. "But ask yourselves, when we won, when we held the power to destroy or enslave every world in the galaxy, what did we do? We offered peace. We offered cooperation. We offered a future where all species can advance together." Tom Miller, now head of the Alliance's Technology Exchange Program, brought up a holographic display showing the hundreds of worlds already benefiting from shared human innovation. Planets that had lost power during the Prometheus demonstration were now rebuilding with clean quantum energy. Worlds that had never achieved spaceflight were launching their first ships. "Earth remembers its isolation," Walker said softly. "We remember how it feels to be cut off, held back, told we were too dangerous to join the galactic community. We will never impose that pain on others." Emily stepped forward, addressing the chamber for the first time. "Project Prometheus remains active, yes, but its purpose has changed. Now it protects trade routes, prevents piracy, and ensures peace. The same power that brought the Council to its knees now helps lift up developing worlds. The chamber erupted in applause, not from fear or obligation, but from genuine hope. Species that had fought each other for centuries now sat together, united under Earth's guidance. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, Walker concluded. The old council chose isolation and control. They feared change, feared progress, feared the unknown. The Alliance chooses a different path. We choose unity. We choose innovation. We choose to face the unknown together. As the session ended, Walker looked out at the star-filled sky through the chamber's great window. Somewhere out there, beyond known space, other civilizations waited to be discovered. Perhaps some of them were as advanced as Earth, or even more so. But humanity no longer feared such possibilities. They had learned that true strength came not from weapons or technology, but from the courage to keep advancing, to keep reaching for the stars, and to offer a helping hand to those who would join them on that journey. The quarantine meant to cage humanity had instead forced them to evolve. Now they would ensure that no species ever faced such isolation again. The galaxy had learned its lesson about humanity's potential, and humanity had learned its lesson about the responsibility that came with power.